Hello there everyone, this is me Ethan here and welcome back to another film review, and in today's video I will be reviewing the newest installment in the American MonsterVerse, Godzilla x Kong. Godzilla x Kong is the 5th installment in the MonsterVerse, and obviously I have to give you all my experience with this franchise. I did not watch any of the movies in the MonsterVerse until 2021 when we had the release of Godzilla vs. Kong. I watched all of them in preparation for this movie because this movie was a pretty big deal towards the beginning of 2021. We hadn't had many huge blockbusters come out in well over a year, and we were just near that post-pandemic, towards the end of COVID era of movies where this was like a major big blockbuster to go check out. This was one of the first major blockbusters to check out really post-COVID, so it was very special for me. I got to go see it with my brother on his birthday, so I watched through all of those MonsterVerse movies in preparation for it. I enjoyed the 2014 Godzilla, I loved Kong Skull Island, and now that I'm thinking about it, that was actually my first MonsterVerse movie. I had seen that when it released, whenever it hit digital, I believe. Regardless, I really enjoyed Kong Skull Island. That's still my favorite MonsterVerse movie by far. Godzilla King of the Monsters was just okay, kind of whatever. Cool visuals though. And then obviously Godzilla vs. Kong I enjoyed enough to own. A fun schlocky time where a bunch of monsters fight and destroy buildings. What more could you ask for? So with Godzilla x Kong, I wasn't looking forward to it as much as I was Godzilla vs. Kong because we're now in an era where movies are thriving again. We're having movies do really well, and Godzilla x Kong is doing extremely well right now at the box office. So it's not as big of a deal this time around, but I was still looking forward to it as someone who did enjoy Godzilla vs. Kong and has some, I guess, nice memories behind the film, if you will. The only issue this film is going to have is comparisons to Godzilla Minus One that released last year. Godzilla Minus One was incredible, had really great, well-written human characters, but whenever it comes to the American monster movies, there's not much to the human characters. It's mainly just about the monsters fighting and beating up each other, and a lot of CGI, but I don't think it's really a fair comparison. You can enjoy your fast food meal and enjoy fine dining at the same time. That's perfectly okay to enjoy two very different things. These monster movies live at two planes, extremely dumb and extremely well written and thought provoking, and there's really no middle ground between them. So I loved Godzilla Minus One, and I still had a fun time with Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. With that said, this movie isn't that great regardless. The human characters still aren't very captivating. They're pretty boring and uninteresting. You have Rebecca Hall returning with her daughter, and her trying to connect with her and figuring out where her roots are and where she belongs in the world. It's mildly amusing, it's mildly interesting, it's just really there to pass the time by though. You have Brian Tyree Henry returning as the podcast guy. It's funny to me that both the new Ghostbusters and the new Godzilla and Kong movie released the same year in 2021 come back in 2024, and they both had characters who had podcasts, one of which his name was just actually podcast, which I still don't understand. Anyway, the characters that are returning are pretty uninteresting. We have a new character played by Dan Stevens, and he's pretty fun at times. He's really the comedic relief, even more than Brian Tyree Henry, and out of all the human characters, I probably enjoyed him the most. And by far the funniest part of this movie is they end up getting trapped in Hollow Earth, and this is pretty much just the filmmaker's excuse to show more of Godzilla in Hollow Earth. And I'd say the human characters are about as Hollow Earth, and they're just not all that intriguing. But thankfully, this film does give more screen time, I think, to the monsters than the humans this time, or at least more than Godzilla vs. Kong in the previous films, which I do appreciate and I can respect. It's ambitious and they really went for it. But I will say though, this is way more a King Kong film than a Godzilla film. Kong is in the majority of this film. He's pretty much the main character of this movie, or the main monster, however you want to put it. Godzilla is not in a lot of it. I understand this probably takes place not too long after Monarch: Legacy of Monsters, the most recent Godzilla TV show on Apple TV that exists within the same universe, and the film starts off really slow to sort of catch the audience up on what's happened since Godzilla vs. Kong and Monarch, which I appreciated, but then again, it is a pretty slow start to get things rolling. I can respect them for having a lot of the dialogue between monsters just be grunts and roars for multiple minutes at a time. It's ambitious, it's bold, I'll accept it. It's got a nice hint of colors. You can understand what's going on between the characters even though they're not speaking anything and there are no subtitles. I respect them for just going for it and showing even more monster stuff, because that's what we're all here for at the end of the day. The fight scenes are obviously so much fun to watch. I have a blast watching these every single time. Unapologetically love watching these monsters fight. The CGI is great, the lighting is nice and vibrant and colorful, just like in Godzilla vs. Kong. They get more and more cartoonish as they go along. You even got Godzilla with a bumblebee glove, like he looks like he's out of Transformers or something. It's awesome, it's cool, it's a total action figure WWE fight. It feels like a theme park ride. I beg Martin Scorsese to watch these newer MonsterVerse movies. If he thinks Marvel movies are theme park rides, just wait until he sees Godzilla x Kong. There are multiple moments in this film that feel like a theme park ride and a WWE match all in one, and I kinda love that. My only issue with a lot of these fights, especially in Hollow Earth, is that there is no sense of scale. One of the best parts of monster movies is you see Godzilla scaling through skyscrapers, or King Kong on top of a tower roaring and beating his chest. You feel that sense of scale and menace from these insane, scary monsters, and that's always been one of the coolest parts of monster movies. You just don't really get that here. Whenever you're in Hollow Earth, it makes it feel like King Kong is maybe six feet tall, maybe. Like, it's all within scale to him, so he doesn't feel as massive. You do get that nice roar on an IMAX screen, which I liked. I wish I could have just seen Dune Part 2 again over that. Anyway, there's no sense of scale to the fights unless they're back on Earth, but even then, you're not with the human characters as much, so you're not at eye level anymore with these human characters. You're up in the sky with them as they're throwing buildings around, causing catastrophes. There's a whole lot of issues with insurance probably in this MonsterVerse world and everything that happens, but it's pure candy carnage. You eat it up, you have a fun time. You don't feel too great after watching it, but it is definitely very fun and very enjoyable to watch when you do get those monsters fighting. And I think there is a better balance compared to the previous films of human characters to monster characters. It definitely relies more on the monster characters than the human characters, which is just acknowledging what the audience wants to see. We just want to see Godzilla and Kong beat each other up and beat up other monsters, and that's all we're really here for, and that's exactly what you get. I'm giving Godzilla x Kong a 5 out of 10. Godzilla x Kong is a fun monster WWE fight mixed with a theme park ride. The human characters are once again primarily exposition dumps with stories as Hollow Earth. Thankfully, the film knows to focus more on the fun creatures and fights throughout. It's nothing particularly special, but it is visually a mostly fun time. So have you seen Godzilla x Kong the New Empire, or Godzilla times Kong, or Godzilla Kong the New Empire, however you say it? Have you seen this film and did you enjoy it? Let me know any and all opinions in the comments section down below. So if you all enjoyed this review and if you all enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, I will see you all in the next one. Bye and have a great day.